Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Remember, it's not about me, it's not about you, it's about me and you. Welcome to the podcast. You guys, because at the end of the day, it's like, for me, I go off of whoever's got time for me and then what time they're willing to give, essentially.
For sure.
Right there.
All right.
Well,
So,
we're talkers. So.
Yeah, let us know. So
Yeah.
we're gonna evaluate this. This is a science experiment.
okay, well, I
right?
have flat shoes that have no grip, so that was on me.
Okay, we're evaluating. We need to know.
So I would say you are right about the whole like posture thing. It makes you forcefully kind of sit a little more forward,
Yeah.
but it's still good though because it's like it's encouraging better posture, which means
sure.
if you have anybody that's drunk, you'll know.
Yes.
Right.
I
And it helps,
definitely
with
like that
the
part,
ergonomics
but
part about it.
I just don't feel like it's
Yeah.
body friendly. I feel
No.
like we're gonna get a brother is in here and he's gonna sit down and then he's not gonna be comfy and he's not gonna want to stay.
So just to put in perspective, it's like I'm a heavier set guy. I have a muffin top, and
Right.
it's just like if I, I'll be doing that move a little more often just
Yeah.
because it's going to put pressure on the sides. And so even for women that have wider hips than I do, it's like it'll come up. So
Yeah.
I think that the curve aspect, if it was just to be a flat back versus a curve in, it would be
Okay.
fine.
Yeah. No, seriously, because I'm a bigger guy. I got more than a muffin top. But no,
Don't talk about
I'd be
muffin.
readjusting constantly. It's not comfortable.
Or if you have like Kat sit here with her body, you know what I mean? It wouldn't work out.
Yeah. We had regular like round
But
stools without a back.
without a back, then you're
Those
kind
could
of
work for a little
remember
while.
the.
Then
you'll
you'll really
if
know
you're
who's drunk.
Then at that point, you'll have something else pending at that point.
Right.
So listen, yeah. So it's debatable when it comes to chairs. Chairs are one of the hardest things to just kind of have perfect. And then if you steal somebody else's bar stools from another bar, they're
Right.
the owner might come and be like, "Hey, you copycat."
Right.
That's my bar.
Yeah, the red ones aren't too bad. I mean, that's kind of our color scheme anyway, black and red.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't. So what, by the end, we're
Yeah.
gonna see how your body feels.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. So I mean, honestly, I'll include this in the introduction.
Yeah.
For me, that's what I mean. Is like, so the interview process is like, for me, it's just like there's no script. I hate a script. I just want to have fun and just kind of show the people what it's like to just be normal.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's like, if you guys don't mind introducing yourselves, and then how long you guys have been in Fernley for, or at least in the area.
Go ahead, baby. Go first.
I get to go first?
Yeah.
My name's Aaron Wilson. I've been in Fernley for about 8 years, originally from Flint, Michigan, and came out here originally to work for Tesla.
I'm Michelle Wilson. I'm his wife. So I've been out here for 8 years as well.
So you come as extra luggage, essentially.
Yeah, absolutely. He was like, "Hey, let's go check this out,"
Yeah.
and then I was like, "Okay," and then now we're here.
So do you still work for Tesla currently, or did you kind of just?
No, so Tesla offered me like a pretty awesome stock package to move out here. I'm like a jack of all trades, man. I did everything. Did like 10 years as a poisonous gas refinery operator for hydrogen sulfide for an oil company.
That's a very specific job.
It is.
Yeah, dude, it was really scary. I walked in there with no experience. Like I worked for a company called Mears, just putting in pipeline down in the southeast of the United States for a summer. And one of the guys was like, "Dude, check out this place, and they might hire you as a plant operator." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." I thought it was just pressure flows, turning valves and stuff. And come to find out, no, I was refining the most dangerous, natural occurring poisonous gas known to man. It's like equally as deadly as cyanide.
You got to work with that on a day-to-day basis, which means it's like once you found out, did it change your mindset on what you're doing, or you knew it kind of ahead of time?
I was young and dumb back then, so I didn't care unless I was the hourly pay. You know what I mean? If anything, it was kind of like an adrenaline rush to me to get into something like that. But then also my biological father was in the oil fields, and he did the what's the name of the deadliest catch stuff up in Alaska for like 8 years. He didn't do crab; he just did regular fishing.
Okay.
Yeah, he worked on the gas line.
And then he worked on the gas line. So like when I got in there, I was like, emulating my biological father. You know what I mean? And so it felt like I was accomplishing something. And I was, that was a big step up from being a laborer to go to a plant operator like that. And I did that for a while, and then the gas plant shut down and put me out on the rigs, and all of a sudden I was a worm wrenching rods at the bottom of the ladder. You know what I mean? After being the boss at the gas plant, I went to being the new guy out on the rigs with guys that's been doing it 20 years. I could, you know what I mean? They're throwing 150-pound pipe like it was nothing.
And then you're coming in like
struggling, dude. Like, and then I will tell you, a week after being on the rigs, I contemplated life decisions at that point.
I understand that. I mean, honestly, so I just turned 30, and one of the biggest things for me, I tried actually doing HVAC and sheet metal. One of my good friends, I was looking for a job, and he was like, "Hey, man, it's like come and become an apprentice. It's like it's good money. The pay structure every year, I think it's almost like a $2 raise. So it's like it's a good raise." And I'm like, "Okay, sure, I'll try it." And I'm like, "Well, hold up." I'm like, "Miguel, I'm freaking almost 30. I'm like, you're barely 23. So it's like, you started this ahead of me."
Right,
I'm like, oh God, what am I supposed to do? So the first week, solid, no problems. But then it got into month 2. And I was like, yeah, my body ain't going like this.
Right.
No, but here's the thing though. I was actually getting good. I actually learned how to install a lot of ductwork just by looking at the blueprints. Regardless of the measurements, if something was off, I still kind of could figure out what my foreman would want me to do or the lead that was supposed to be there. And so I think that was a eye opener for me to get into a career field that it's like my body can handle. Because back when I was 18, 19, I got T-boned at like 60 miles per hour. So my body's been jacked up for some time. But again, it's like it challenged me to think differently because I was in military school and I wanted to kind of just go into the military.
Carry that on, right?
But trust me, it's like when you say jack of all trades, it forced me to become a jack of all trades.
Right, yeah.
So,
it's, I mean, you kind of got to be a jack of all trades, right? In everything you do. I mean, at least that's my take on everything, dude. I don't know, from anything from changing oil in your car to, putting in a staircase at your house. I think any person can do that.
Yep.
It just takes the effort and the focus to be able to do it.
Yeah.
And maybe some YouTube videos, dude.
I was going to say, yeah, YouTube is your best friend, especially nowadays. I think that the kids' generations of now will be smarter than us by the time that they reach what we would call our peak of like 21, 22.
Right.
They'll outsmart us.
Oh,
for sure, dude.
For sure.
It's like I even look at the little ones now, I'm like, what do you guys, how do you know this? It's like,
what is in the water?
Exactly. It's like, that's why we'll go to Flint.
Right.
Hey, I think that's why I never got COVID. My immune system's strong, bro.
I'm just like, I don't get sick often. When I do, I'm on my ass. But Abel, our youngest, brought home COVID. I got the entire workforce on that shift sick, right? Because we had no idea. And then he's sleeping in the same room as me. And I'm like, babe, go on the couch. Like
nothing.
Yeah, he's like, I'm fine. I drank flip water.
I'm good. I'm good.
Flip water in my bed.
And I mean, it's just funny.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, and I think about it like our beginnings, like where we came from, like Flint, Michigan. She's from Hilo, Hawaii. We met in Michigan because she moved up there. And then, like, back to the original where we started, we kind of squirreled a little bit.
Yeah, we did. I was squirreling.
Tesla ended up headhunting me from a manufacturing job I got after the oil field closed.
Nice.
And then, but we always wanted to chase our dreams being restaurant owners. That was with the stock package that Tesla offered me to move out here with, we were going to take that and use that as our nest egg to start a steakhouse. And, we had these dreams of doing that in Reno or somewhere in the area. And then, God had other plans,
Well, see, and that's the thing is like, I look at Fernley from an outside perspective because I really am an outsider, for being honest. Like, I moved from Virginia here just to be with my fiance. Mm-hmm. And when I saw Fernley, from a distance, I'm like, man, it's such a small town. I love it. But at the same time, like, it's growing. So there's the concern of like, what communities are coming in and how is that affecting businesses, or how have businesses operated since, as long as they've been around. Mm-hmm. How long has All Point been around, actually? I forgot to ask that.
We're on, I think, the 3rd year,
I
believe. June will be our year 3.
And so, I mean, you guys were in business still during prime time COVID, essentially.
Yeah,
it was directly after COVID because I was working for a tech company. After I left Tesla, I was working for a tech company, and that's when COVID hit hard. Okay. We met the owner of the little shack that we operate now through a mutual friend, Russ Ferretto, I mean, he's an amazing dude. We would not be doing what we're doing if he hadn't been a blessing in our life. It's insane. He introduced us to Yvonne. She was ready to retire from the restaurant business. Dude, it was crazy. I was at, I can't name it because of certain reasons, but it was one of the world's leading tech companies, and I supervised their data center. My team pretty much installed every server from the ground up. We were there when the construction crew was still running wires through the building. But I was there, and I'm like, dude, I'm never leaving this company. It was the best job I ever had. Dude, I gained 150 pounds in the first year and a half because of all the free food. I tell you,
Hey, you can't listen. Kosher jobs is what keeps employees, honestly.
Right.
Dude,
He
they had
worked so hard
chefs
to get
on
there.
shift. First thing I did in the morning when I got there is I'd open my laptop, I put in my breakfast and my lunch order, and then my snack order. And then breakfast would be
Snack order.
You placed an order.
Yeah.
no, they had chefs on site, bro, with a kitchen on site. And then
No, that's not kosher. That's pampered.
Dude, there was a disc golf course on the outside of our data center, and I mean, all this should tell you who I work for. You know what I mean? But
we're not going to name anybody, but
right, yeah.
You work for no one. It's fine.
Yeah. So I mean, and I was complacent, man. I mean, I was like, someday we'll get to our restaurant idea, and then that evolved into, okay, let's just do a food truck.
Yeah.
Because we were both. She was going to what kind of school is that called? Cosmo School. She wanted to own a beauty shop.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Is that still in the works?
I'm totally okay with putting that on the back burner. Eventually, maybe.
Okay. Is there going to be a specialty, or is it kind of more along the lines of like a little bit of everything?
So when I was going to Cosmo School, I really wanted to go into ethnic hair. Okay. Like there's not, I mean, you can go to Reno, I'm sure, you know what I mean? And with you being from Virginia, I'm pretty sure, I want to say like 3 years ago, there was some aunties that came on the internet and was like, pretty sure the state's going to fine us because we don't have certificates for braiding, you know, and they would braid everybody's hair and had a whole salon set up. But braiding you can't teach braiding in a school setting like that. It's more of like enrooted.
Tribal knowledge.
Right,
handed down, like your mom teaches you and you teach your daughter.
Yeah, and the aunties and the sisters and all of that. You know what I mean? And so I didn't know if there was, I know a handful of ladies that will braid hair out here, and they get paid good money, especially during, what is it called? Burning Man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
So the salons will, be like, hey, let me.
I'm going to steal a contact from you because I need to do my braids once my hair gets just a little bit longer.
And I know she's in my phone right now.
My fiance does not want to let me grow my hair.
No.
Yeah.
I told her, I'm sorry, I got to grow out the lion's mane again. I miss it. I had highlights to kind of contrast the two of lion's mane. Yeah. And it's just like, I used to ride a motorcycle, so I felt like king of the world.
Right. It's all just flowing. Yeah, so I wanted to do like a salon that specialized, in everything and anything. I like everything and anything, but my prime goal was to go to barbershops and apprentice with everybody's hair. Black
that's
hair,
smart.
Indian hair, any person type of hair.
No, that's smart because like my cousin in Virginia, he actually works in a barbershop where they actually also teach. Yeah. So it's not just your standalone barbershop. The upstairs is where all the seniority is, and then the downstairs, they rotate one of the seniors to teach the students in the bottom floor. Right. And so because my cousin worked there, I would always schedule an appointment with him, but I would even ask him hey, do you have apprentices that need, some help? Yeah. Because I have thick, wild, crazy hair. Right. And so they're going to have a run for their money because they're not used to just a man having super thick hair. They're used to thinnish hair that they can just kind of get through quickly. Mm-hmm. I'm no, I got my mom's hair. Right. So I was I'm going to put him through the ringer.
She's loud and she's strong.
Have you ever had him use thinning shears before?
What's that?
Thinning shears?
You're talking about the ones that kind of look a little funky.
They have teeth?
Yeah. So they do it, but the only reason I don't like it is because it gives me those weird strands of hairs afterwards that kind of just stick out. Yeah. So when I try to do the slick back look with hair gel, it never works out because it just fights and it wants to stick out. What's that movie called? The Little Rascals, Alfalfa.
Yeah. So that's what I want to do. I hate. Also, side note, I hate thinning shears. I look at them like they're the devil.
Hmm.
They are. They're the devil. I would never put thinning shears to someone's head. I mean, you would have to, but they've freaked me out.
Well, I think of them more as of course, somebody did scientific research, and they're like, "Oh yeah, these are great for thinning hair." I'm like, "You're destroying hair."
Right.
If I get a microscope afterwards, once you do it once, I'm looking at the hair follicles, split ends, 20 at least minimum.
right, for sure. No, I'm sure they're there for a reason, but I feel like maybe there's a different way to thin out.
When I was younger, I had to get it done. My hair was so thick and so full.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was like the stylist would be like, "Yeah, I'm using thinning shears on your hair."
Yeah, I think I
was that the only way they were able to get the machine through, essentially?
Yeah, it would seriously. It would. It'd be like, ow. You know what I mean? It was like, yeah, it was crazy how thick my hair was.
Yeah.
And then the older I got, the further back it got on my forehead. And finally, I just gave up the fight, dude. I was like, screw it. I got a Harley. I can play the part.
There you go.
Grew up. I always kept it high and tight. Did the little flip up in the front, like a Caesar surfer.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So you would be a greaser, essentially.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. When I watched The Outsiders, dude, I was one of the greasers. I hated the preps.
There you go. Hey, listen, so did I, but I'm not going to lie, I did mess around with the theater kids here once in a blue moon.
Oh, dude, I was in theater. I loved theater.
Yeah.
I loved it, man. It was awesome. I was in youth theater.
Nice.
It was actually really cool. Michael Moore was a guest instructor at the Flint Youth Theater while I was taking youth acting classes there.
No friggin' way.
That was back when I think his only movie that he had directed at that time was Roger and Me, which is a documentary about Flint, Michigan. Really cool documentary if anybody wants to watch it.
Oh, yeah, no, we'll definitely toss in the link in there for that.
Yeah, no, it's a really cool. It gives you like the history and like the industrialization of Flint, Michigan, and it used to be like the town to be in Michigan, man. And then once the factory shut down and the jobs left.
I'm curious with what's going on technically right now, if there's going to be a boom again in that area. Like if they're going to reconsider it to kind of just bring all the infrastructure there. But again, we look at the buildings that are in our backyard and we're like, they're looking a lot of other places too.
Right. So I've heard, and I haven't looked into it or read up on it or not, but downtown Detroit has supposed to be going through like this huge revitalization in the last decade, and they're trying to rejuvenate Detroit.
And we would love that.
Yeah, Detroit's awesome, dude.
Well, for Flint too.
Yeah,
we would love.
Flint would be, it would be a harder move to make for Flint.
I'm trying to remember. So one of my certificates that I got for like working with hearing aids actually was in Michigan. Okay. So I know that I could have gone to Detroit, but I think I was on the outskirts. I'm trying to remember where it was. I'll brainstorm. But it's like just flying through and then visiting for a week is like, I thought Detroit was a beautiful area. Yeah. Well, at least Michigan, should I say, because I didn't really get to go into Detroit. But one thing for sure, it's like I can see what's happening. They're bringing in people from the out, like they're really pushing for people to come in. Mm-hmm. It's like, and the pricing of things isn't actually that crazy.
No, Michigan's it's a good pricing state.
Yeah, dude, it's not bad living. Like, I mean, but the wage rates, the prices. You know what I mean? Like, you're making $70,000 in Michigan. It's like making $130,000 here. Yep. So it's. The cost of living, like when we moved out here, my salary doubled, but so did my house payment.
Right.
So it equalizes.
That was rough.
You know what I mean? But things out here on the west seem newer. I don't know if it's because it was settled later and built later or whatever it was. But like back in Michigan, we had it wasn't nothing super fancy. It was a 1,200 square foot, 3-bedroom home. We were blocks away from the middle school, the elementary school, the high school, Main Street. All that stuff.
A town smaller than Fernley.
With
no way.
Yes.
700 people.
700.
It's kind of weird to hear that,
Yes.
like, because I see Fernley as already as like a super small town.
Yeah, like our downtown was like from the Wigwam to probably the 76, and
if you passed the 76, you went too far. That's what we would say. If you come up on Tom's gas station on the right, you went too far. Flip a U.
Yeah. Farwell, Michigan. Where we were at. That's where my family had been for generations, man.
Yeah, Grandma had a house out there.
Yep, and that's what bought my grandma's house when it got put on the market after she passed. And dude, this was after the oil field, before Tesla, and I was completely content, like living, working, and dying in the same small town that my family did for 4 or 5 generations. And then Tesla sent me an email, dude, and like all the ambition and the goals that I just forgot about because I was in fifth gear, just cruising along life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then like Tesla just sparked that ambition in me again. I'm like, oh man, I got dreams, dude. You know what I mean? Like we can do this, and our kids can live and work and die in the same small town, their lives, and our grandkids and all that, or we can take a leap of faith and see what life has for us and move to the West Coast and, or closer to the West Coast and move for sure.
Yeah, don't want to be in the West.
Right.
I used to live in San Diego, and I can say it's like I'm glad I moved out of the area.
Right.
Yeah, we get to visit San Diego. That was nice.
Yeah, San Diego's beautiful. It's just expensive.
Yeah, I love like San Diego. We got to go to San Francisco.
Yeah.
Did the Alcatraz thing.
Nice.
All that stuff, and I love the food. I'm a seafood junkie, dude. Being from Michigan, we grew up eating seafood all the time. So
Well, lake food. It's not seafood.
it's
It's the same thing. If it's water, aquatics is seafood.
yeah.
Seafood.
Because we don't Lake Superior. It's like as big as an ocean.
And we really don't separate the two when it comes to restaurant categories. It's like freshwater fish and saltwater fish.
Yeah.
It's still seafood.
Right, it's fish.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was really cool. I think some of that stuff. And California is beautiful, man. And everybody we've met out there has been nice, but man, that is like people don't like California for some reason. I just don't get it.
Well, we just don't know because we haven't been on this side. So.
It's politics. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with like people per se. Because like when I was in San Diego, I was able to go to the boardwalk and literally just talk my ear off and somebody talk my ear off and just enjoy the scenery. Flip flops and a hoodie.
Right.
Like I could go to church with flip flops and a hoodie or a tank top. Nobody would say anything.
Right.
It was a whole different vibe.
Yeah.
And then it's like when I was in Virginia for church, I had to wear a suit and tie type of
Right.
thing. And I'm like, it's a no-brainer where I want to go to church. But again, it's like it's one of those things where it's just politics is what makes certain areas not viable to live in. Virginia would be the same thing a little bit, where they say the DMV area. It's like if you live where a lot of government workers are, it's like you might have a distaste per se. You'll be like, oh, it's like they're too too uptight, or they have a mentality that doesn't seem like that more flexible approach. But then once you like leave the inner city, it's like you're like, oh, it's actually not bad.
Right.
It's like they call Stafford the start of the south of Virginia per se. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's the start. I think it's a little further south, just because Stafford has become more of a city-like, so it's more populated, more expensive. Mm. But there's definitely a specific point in Virginia where it becomes the South.
Yeah.
And then at that point, you get that Southern vibe, that Southern hospitality. So it's like you leave the city behind. And I think that's why people kind of still like that balanced lifestyle there. They could just drive a good hour and they're in the South. And then now they don't deal with the city life anymore. They're more of like nonchalant, like you can actually talk to someone and not worry about, just saying hi and getting stabbed.
Right.
Not saying that happens, but it could.
It definitely happens. Unfortunately. Yeah. No, so my dad's side of the family lived in the South for a long time, in like Kentucky, Tennessee. And then when I worked on the pipeline, I went through the South. What a culture shock. Being from northern Michigan my entire life. You know what I mean? Like I visited my grandpa in Kentucky, but we just stayed at his house. I didn't go out and hang out with the southern folks. And then then I worked with them, and I'm like, dude, this is a whole different world down here. Like this is different.
Did Grandpa ever call you a Yankee?
No.
He never called you a Yankee?
No, but he talked a lot about hillbillies.
Did he?
Like, I wanted to play pool with my grandpa because I used to be a pool hustler when I was a kid.
Nice.
And he's like, well, we'll go shoot a game of pool. Yeah. And he went in his closet, grabbed his .32 and shoved it in his back pocket. And I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, yeah, man, these bars around here ain't no joke. You got to protect yourself. And we go and we drove to like 5 different bars, and if there was more than 3 cars in the parking lot, he just pulled away. And my grandpa wasn't like a hermit. Like he wasn't like that at all. He just, I don't know if it was the area they lived in down there or what, but he did not mess around with them dudes, man. He's like, he goes, they want to fight you because you're a Yankee. And grandpa was too old to fight. Right. His fighting days were behind him.
But if he was young, he'd be like, yeah, why not? This is how we do things.
Yeah, right. Sure. Yeah. But I mean, it was a different world going through the South. We went through Shreveport, Louisiana, Charlotte, North Carolina, basically put in the gas pipeline from Charlotte, North Carolina to Shreveport. everywhere in between. But it was just different, man.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was a different vibe. Too hot for me. Too hot and humid. Oh my goodness.
Oh my
Oh
god.
yeah, it's a different type of sweating down there.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I mean, Michigan's humid, but not like down in Louisiana, man. I got out of the truck and my clothes were soaked.
Yep.
And I looked at that dude and I'm like, dude, how do you guys live here? And he goes, how cold does it get in Michigan? And I'm like, like minus 30, 3 feet of snow. And he's
You
like,
out your mind.
screw that. I don't know why I'm living up there.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
Yeah, you just tell people come and step in my shoes for a weekend,
Right.
especially during our worst weather months, and then you get to
Right.
see the like culture shock as well there. And
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
So kind of to just jump a little bit, because you did mention is like you had to kind of put things on halt. Would you say that when things got put on hold for you, like dream wise, was it something killed the dream, or was it just straightforward like it's not going to happen right now, but if the opportunity arises?
So, I mean, to be completely honest and transparent with you, alcohol.
Okay.
That's what it was, man. I worked in the oil fields, and alcohol became a big part of my life.
Okay.
The owner of the alcohol company. Might as
Oh,
well
you're
be,
just
right?
shaking hands with Mr. Jack Daniels,
Right.
were you? No.
I mean, he'd come out at lunch, and if you're doing a good job, he'd leave a bottle of Jack with you. And we're working with 100,000 pounds over our head and different stuff, and then that was part of that culture of being a roughneck. You got out of work, you went to the bar, you drank beer, and you beat ass, and you went home. And that was just kind of, and I think I got lost in that because I didn't really have, I don't want to get too deep, but I didn't really have a father figure around, a positive one growing up.
Yeah.
I had a stepdad around. He was very abusive to me and my mom when I was younger.
Yeah.
But he always worked 3 jobs. We never had to wait for food. You know what I mean? So growing up, that was what I thought a man did. I provided.
Yeah.
And so I thought my job was done if I punched the clock in the oil field and this and that. And so I was content in doing that. And then it's just like one day I woke up and realized that there's so much more to life than punching a clock and drinking a 6-pack after work.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so much more to being a man than providing a paycheck. Like I need to provide myself. I need to be present for my family and provide them with the best opportunities. And I wasn't doing that by keeping them in a town of 700 people in BFE in Michigan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but I forgot where I was going with the whole dad thing.
Kind of like what allowed you
Oh,
to
how I
steer
got
off.
lost.
Yeah,
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
you steered off the path. So
Yeah.
it wouldn't have been that your dream got killed. It's more of like it got distracted.
Yeah, kind of, man. I squirreled. I for sure squirreled, and then my best friend passed away. My stepdad, that was abusive to me as a kid, we made amends and became super close.
There you go.
You know what I mean? He was a great granddad to my kids, and like had that. He passed away. My godparents passed away all in the same year, and then I just wanted to wallow in my own sorrow. You know what I mean? Instead of facing it and dealing with stuff, and the best way to do that for me was alcohol. For some reason, and when I came out of that fog is when I started to see that life doesn't stop because you're sad.
Just so that there's, for me, it's a no judgment zone always. And it's like me, I've been an alcoholic before. It's like, my father's locked up pretty much for the rest of his life. So I get it, not having a father figure. It places a big impact. And
sure.
me currently, it's like, I'm fighting that mentality is like, where I'm like, oh, I'm supposed to provide for my fiance is like, even though she's not my wife yet, but I'm already in that mentality. Like, I'm like, I don't have a good enough job. So I always tell, so it's like, it almost like, we punish ourselves because of that mentality, which then leads us off the wrong path. And then at that point, that's where the bad habits kick in and whatever dreams we have just get shut down.
Exactly, man. Exactly. And I'll never forget that she told me one day, I can't remember what happened. Oh, dude, it was when I was in the oil field. We had a 40-acre farm. We had a town and house. My grandma's house I bought. We ended up renting that to her brother, my brother-in-law. And then we got a 40-acre farm 10 miles further out in the middle of nowhere. And I got laid off from the oil field. I went to jail for a DUI. The oil field closed the same year all them people passed away at me.
Oh,
So it was like my whole world just crumbled down besides her. You know what I mean? And I remember when we were losing the farm, and it sounds so silly to say we lost the farm, but
Julie,
we were selling.
the farm's
we
gone.
lost the farm.
that's not a sentence you hear that often anymore.
right.
Right.
Dude. And I remember selling the fifth wheel, and I was selling our guns times and everything we could to try and, we had to let her brother know we had to come back to our original house. So now it didn't just affect my life, it affected his life.
No, I think Mike had moved out and bought the
he
house
did.
across the street, and then Mom and her husband lived in the
I
house.
rented it to my mom.
So we had to kick Mom out.
Yeah, I had to kick my mom out so we could come back. But
It's like, it's not your house, but
like Mom, scoot over.
Right,
We need to.
right.
Well, you can hang out with us, just like it's like you might
Right,
not.
right. And like that whole being a provider and leading your family and this and that. And I remember I was losing it, dude. I was losing my mind. I was neck deep in alcoholism. I lost my job. I was a functioning alcoholic, dude. I could go to the oil field and do anything you needed me to do. But everything was falling apart around me. And I remember you looked at me, you said, babe, I will follow you to a cardboard box. You're my person. And ever since then, that whole provider thing is still there. But I know no matter what happened, the world could burn down around me and she's still here. That's so important.
It's because I lit the world on fire.
There you go.
She's dancing and running around like, yeah!
Chucking shit in there. You gotta go. Go.
But that put me at ease a lot when we were going through a lot of that stuff. So, but yeah, you just got my back, man, and that's pretty awesome. But then going back to the not having a dad and like being a provider and stuff, and then when I was younger, I had a lot of anger about that. Like, why would my dad do that to me? And now that I'm older, I'm like, dude, God has a reason for everything, because my dad that wasn't around taught me how to not be a dad by staying around. And my stepdad that was too physically abusive taught me how to not be a disciplinarian. Yep. Like, I'm a disciplinarian in the right way with my kids, and that's, so I look back now and, the nights you're crying because you miss your dad and all that stuff. It's like, yeah, I get the feelings are valid, you know what I mean? But it was for a reason, so.
I think they were just young and dumb trying to figure out life.
Yeah,
just
I
didn't.
was real dumb.
No, not you, dads. The dads.
Oh, yeah.
I think
we all did the little adjustment.
Right.
That's the chair feedback,
Right.
Yeah.
They didn't know.
They were kids.
They didn't know what the hell they were doing.
And this is all stuff that I've talked to my dad about. You know what I mean? Like, my biological dad and me are super. He's my best friend now. But he didn't come back full time really into my life until our oldest son was born. He was a preemie baby. He was in ICU. And my dad was like, I'm not missing out on my grandson like I missed out on you, and packed up his entire life from Tacoma, Washington, and drove to Michigan and bought a farm 5 miles down the road from our farm.
The one that we lost.
At least he didn't buy the one that you guys.
Exactly.
Right, yeah.
Then that would have been like a
Sorry, son, go
Right.
live with your mom.
Yeah.
Actually, and he still has the farm.
Yeah, he's still there.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
It's like, do you guys go visit with the kids just to kind of like give them that, reminder of like, hey, this is,
We went back when we sold the house,
Yep.
Grandma's house. We sold that, and then I went back to help him with his back surgery because he had a back surgery. And the kids came when we sold the house, didn't they? Yeah, the kids came.
But so they hung out with Papa for like a week, almost a week. It was like 3 days, and then we balanced and kicked them off to my side. So then they went with Auntie J.
Yeah, we don't get back as much as we should, probably.
Well, especially now that we're doing all these projects. So.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing is like time management is one of the hardest things to do when you. It's like literally for me, it's like I look at the shack and I look at here. I'm like, holy smokes, it's a day and night difference. Because I was telling him as soon as I walked in, even in the dark, I was like, already like, whoa.
Yeah.
It's like you could already see the silhouette of what's happening in here, and I'm like, man, this is awesome. I can't wait to just see the liveliness that's going to be in here. I'll probably be one of the first to grab a shot here.
Absolutely.
So just throwing that out there.
Absolutely.
Right on.
Jameson and ginger ale. That's the simplest drink I always go for.
Nice.
Sounds good. We'll be ready.
What's your take on gambling in the bar or slots? Do you like it or do you dislike it?
So you say it's like, God has a plan and stuff. It's like, are you guys believers or where do you guys sit on that road?
I mean, I am for sure.
Okay.
I'm a Christian. You can speak for yourself. But
I'm just open-minded.
There you go. So I'm what you call an open-minded Christian. Is like I look at all viewpoints of all denominations, and then I still hear out the other religions just because of the aspects. Is like it's still a human being, and I want to talk to them. But when it comes to the way how I put it, all your actions have to reflect off of your beliefs. So it's just like gambling. It's like if you read the word, you know what it says about gambling. So
Right.
you know what it says about drinking, all that stuff. So it kind of plays the devil's advocate a little bit on you sometimes. But from a personal perspective, I would take away the gambling out. If anything, maybe have like a poker table or something where it's more interactive. Because the second you put a slot machine, you now have a mindless body there.
Yeah.
And I get it. It's good. It's good for business sake. But at the same time, it's like you guys. Every time I go to y'all's restaurant over there, it's like it's a lovely time. Like I even talk to some of the customers that are in line there. So it's like that mentality should be applied here. Where it's like it's socialized with whoever.
Here.
Yeah.
Even with the strangers.
If I have a slot machine, I'm not saying that it's like I'll be a mindless body here, but it will take away from the aesthetics of like, no, we're like family. We treat everybody like family. It's like we treat everybody with respect, and it's just like we want everybody to respect each other too.
Yeah.
So that's just my opinion. It's like you guys are going to do what you got to do, but that's just my take on it. I think that it's like the way how you guys have carried yourselves just from an outside perspective. I'd say is like maybe the slot machine might not go in with the quasi that you said.
Yeah, that's generally our thought. Like we've been asking pretty much everybody, what's your thoughts on that? And that's pretty much everybody's feedback. It takes away from the personable side of our restaurant, which is what we love. You know what I mean? We love that we know everybody's name, or she does. My back's over the window. But
it's not everyone's.
I mean,
it's 97%.
We really get involved with our guests, man. Like we know about their kids' stories. I mean, they come up and tell us all kinds of stuff, and that's the cool part about being in a small town. You know what I mean? You don't get that in big cities.
Nope.
And if you do, it's rare.
Right.
You'll get the occasional you became best friends with that one specific person at the bar, but it's like it's not the whole community. The community backing you up, and that's why it's like I tell everybody, it's like what you build is like, and how you build it determines how long you can go.
Yeah.
You guys have the what is it called when somebody the pay it forward program? It's like I almost had to use that program. It's like
it's there for you.
Exactly. But at the same time, I'm like, no, I'm like, all right, let me see what's going on in life. It's like, am I really in that position right now, or can I hold that a little bit longer?
Revisit.
Exactly. And so it's just like, it was one of those things where it's like, I had to consider it. And I was just like, man, it's like, back in Virginia, I never would have seen something like that.
No.
Yeah. And so it's like, so it gave me okay, when I do something in the future, I want to have something like this. Or if I ever do anything or have a friend that does it, they'll be like, hey, this right here is something I saw that somebody did. I think it'll be a good idea for you to do it.
For sure. Yeah. No, I'm so grateful that we have those tickets in the window.
Because I mean, and it's all we are is the conduit for friendly, the community that you were just talking about. Like if someone comes up and
he's dying. He's going down.
No, I swallowed it and it just it tickled. It happens. We're all human, and that's why I tell people, look, it's like I love that the podcast will be raw. It's like even that I'll include it. I don't know. It's like we're human. It's like, but as you were saying, sorry.
No, you're good. What was that?
Community, pay it forward.
Oh yeah, and I mean Fernley's the ones that's doing it. We're just a conduit for it, basically. And it's that small community that cares. And on our side, what we do to help is if sometimes there's not a ticket and someone comes up and we see them looking, we will still take care of the meal for them. You know what I mean? It's something that we got to do, because when the oil field shut down and we went back to our house in Farwell, dude, my rent or my house payment at that time was $450 a month, and I was struggling to make it. We were going to soup kitchens. You know what I mean? I wanted to take my family out to eat, but I couldn't afford it. And if we can provide a way for someone to do that, that's going through the hard times, man, dude, just that means a lot to people. It means a lot to kids, dude, when they come up and you can tell that they're struggling. You know what I mean? Or we know the story of their struggle. Yeah. Dude, I get my heart's on my sleeve. I don't know if it's because I'm an old man or not. I cry way more now than I have in my life, dude. It's so. And that's what she does every time. She laughs. She's like, "You're so cute." I'm like, "Leave me alone." I hate TikTok. Right. It makes me cry at least once a day.
It gets all of us. Everybody, don't even act like it.
I fall like a baby. I do this magic trick where I laugh cry.
Okay.
And I don't know why. I don't know how it happens, but I laugh because I'm crying. Kind of. I don't. Is it
Is there like a bipolar emotion disorder?
I know.
that you
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't. In that moment, I'm laughing because I'm like, "Why you being a little bitch?" But then I'm like, "Look at how cute this
you like
is,"
the
or
laugh now,
something.
cry later faces all at once.
All at once,
Yeah,
the whole time.
yeah.
And I've done it. I've done it forever. I couldn't tell you why. I think the first time that I laughed, cried, it was like a military reuniting video, and I start bawling and like cracking up at the same time. And my brother looks at me and he's like, "Yep, you all right? What's going
There's
on?"
like that face of concern, but you're like, no. I'm
fine.
feeling everything the right way. It's just the expressions
right.
is not matching up.
Everything's so. And then he started dying, and I've just done it like so. I laugh, cry too with TikTok,
Dude. And so I thought it was funny. Like I would send her sappy TikToks, and like I would like watch her. And like wait to see the water welling up in the corners of her eyes, and then I'd laugh about it. And then one day I sent her one. It was like
I know which one it is.
It was like a year and a half after our dog got put down.
And
I sent her this one. It's like not me thinking this is going to be the Golden Gates when I get there, and a pit bull running around some bushes with some music playing that looked like our pit bull that we put down. Dude, she was sad for like 3 days, and I felt like I failed as a husband, dude. Like I could not make it up to her at all, and I have not sent her a sappy TikTok since. Like I was like, oh, that was too far. Shit, what did I do?
It was hilarious. Now that we think about it, it's funny, but it was kind of rough at the moment.
No, trust me. I think it was my first week of moving in. It's like immediately had a traumatic experience in Fernley.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I was driving, and then my fiance is like, "There's a dog on the road," and so it's like I immediately pop a U-turn. Well, by the time I've already popped a U-turn, the poor dog is on the road. Been hit. And so I, carried it off the road, just stayed with it until it passed. And I was like, dang, I'm like, I just moved here.
Yeah. I remember you telling me that. You were like, dude, last week it happened.
It's like, just moved here and this is what happened. I'm like, man, it's crazy. And so it's like, I've even asked, and this is going to put the shelter/community on blast. I've even asked them, like, do you guys need people to volunteer? Like, do you guys even train people to volunteer? It's like, how does it even function? Or it's like, because with my job, I have access to driving around. Well, I helped animal control try to catch a dog, but then it just kind of vanished. And so they just kind of like went to do their own thing. But it's just like, it's just one person.
Yeah. She has a huge workload.
And I'm like, come on, Fernley, kind of get it together. And granted, it's not just Fernley, it's the county, but we're not going to go too deep into that. But it's just like, it hurts me to see that they put essentially all that work on just one person. And then I see the amount of like, on the community page, like how it gets blown up, and I'm like, what can we do? Like, what do we need to do? It's like, what do we need to ask our city officials to kind of just be like, hey, us as a community want something out of this. It's like, we need to do something because it's getting bad and it's ridiculous. And so I've been trying to brainstorm, and still haven't come up with like the greatest solution, but I'm just like, maybe there has to be a nonprofit, but also the one that the city supports, which allows to get grants and funding for it. Because at the end of the day, there has to be some form of minimal funding.
Yeah. There is some nonprofit for animals here in Fernley already.
Is it the rescue one? It's like RES and then a little dash and then QUE. I've seen that one on the...
Yeah, so I've seen them on the Facebook, rolling through the Facebook, but there's another one, and I don't know if Argonne does dogs as well. But I know Argonne is like a huge nonprofit for cats.
Okay.
Actually, when we first moved here, we picked up a stray that needed to be fixed, and they took the bill from like $468 down to like $35.
Oh, that's
it was pretty cool. So they get funding, and I think they get funding through their fundraisers, right? Argonne,
I have no idea. Oh yeah, through their fundraisers and different donations. They put out like wish lists.
Yeah, don't quote me.
They might need for their rescue.
Right.
The video, yeah.
But yeah, so there's a couple, but I don't know if we can get Fernley to like force a position open so the animal control lady can get some help, because she has a huge workload.
So, and that's the thing. That's why I says like they can have a volunteer. There's so many people that want to volunteer. I'm like, but train them the right way.
Right.
and then you'll have access to those people, because it's like you just need multiple bodies to volunteer,
Yeah.
and you can assign them a specific day. You don't have to have them work every single day.
Right.
It's like there's ways of going around it, but it's like, again, because it's just one person. I don't know if she also technically has to manage her own schedule and manage.
Right.
That's where I'm like, I kind of want to ask her these questions, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't want to get too intrusive.
Right. And you're talking about like the stray dogs.
Yeah,
that run
they're just like
around,
all
so-
the animals that are
So like, what does that look like logistically? Like, if you get all the volunteers, where are the dogs gonna go?
interesting.
Is that what you're
And-
talking about, the rescues and stuff?
And see, and that's where, so there's a lot of people that own land here, let's be
Mm.
honest. And it's just like, it wouldn't cost that much money to just have tents placed.
Sure, like a foster for.
Just like a temporary shelter
Yeah.
segment. And it's just like, and then kind of rotate them out between the actual main shelter and then
Mm.
bring them out to that area. There's got to be some form of like where people that own a good amount of land, they can kind of get like a tax break essentially for
Sure.
donating their
Yeah.
land for X amount of time.
That's a good.
There's so many different things that can happen, but again, the world is a little selfish, but not in the sense of like, oh, they don't care. It's just more or less, it's like how the world has functioned. It makes people want to be less giving.
Right.
And so, like, when you guys do the giving for, the pay it forward, is like, that's something that's not expected that often. It's like, I could go to every single restaurant here in Fernley, and I think you guys are the only ones that do that. Technically.
Oh, yeah.
And then how did that? Because back in the day, that used to just be part of human. Like, it seemed like
Yeah.
everybody was that like that. You know what I mean? For the most part, like, when I was growing up,
Yeah.
like, people seemed more giving and more personable. Dude, I blame it on the internet, and smartphones, man.
Yeah.
For real.
Before being honest.
Like, I love them, and I depend on mine on the daily, all the
Right.
time. But dude, it's kind of ruined people, man. I just saw this. It was a TED talk, and this guy was talking like, from the age of 18, you live your life, and he took, little blocks. He had circles going through, and it's like this big page on a projector, and he's like, you'll spend these many blocks represent so much amount of time, but you'll spend this much amount of time sleeping. It's like a 30-year life, and it filled up a third of the blocks, right? And then it was like, and you'll spend this much time at work, and it filled up more rows. You know what I mean? And then it goes, and then even the bathroom, he broke down bathroom time. You know what I mean? And then and then it comes down, it's like 2/3 of everything. And he goes, this is you, what you have over the course. And this is if your life expectancy was 80. He goes, this is how many rows you would have left. And he goes, you would have, and I don't want to say the exact numbers, like 70% or whatever it is, of your life was taken up by these other things, and 30% was actually you time. And that was a study, I can't remember when it was from. It was a while ago, right? And then they did it now, or they projected it. That's what it was. And they said, kids now, if they have the same life expectancy, he goes, they will spend this much time looking at a screen. And it filled up almost everything except for the last dot of rows. And he's like, we are missing life. Like, life is passing us by because we're looking at screens,
That's
and
terrible.
that, I think about that kind of stuff all the time, dude, because I'm a Gen Xer. You know what I mean? I'm older. I watched the internet become a thing and all that. And like, it's just insane to me, like, that people are just all day long like that. So when we're at work, it's refreshing.
Yep.
Because we don't have time to be on our phone.
No, our look down is not on the phone anymore.
Yeah,
Every once in a while.
and when
we'll
it
see
is,
again,
it's a
but-
business thing real quick. It's,
Yeah.
and even social media now has become a business thing for us because that's how we communicate with our followers and whatnot. And it's a breath of fresh air to meet new people and
It
develop relationships with them. Like, dude, I've got so many. Before we had that restaurant, I would really have said I had like 1 or 2 close friends. Now I can say my family has grown.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because we meet people and they're like, dude, I love you, man. You know? and it's neat because I'm not doing that through social media or looking to see what a high school friend has been up to the last 30 years.
See, I'm guilty because I'm a
Sure.
gamer.
Right.
So it's like, for me, socializing was always through a headset or
Yeah.
through a screen.
Mm.
But I never disassociated. So like, just like how we're talking right now, it's like me having just a screen always in front of me didn't impact my socialization. If anything, it actually made it better.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I didn't have that fear of the unknown. It's like, I'm talking to a stranger, God knows where,
Right.
but I'm having the best time of my life. And so it's just like, now when I'm in person with somebody, it's that same mentality. I'm just like, oh, it's like I'm meeting somebody, but I don't know where the conversation is going to go, but it can either go really well.
Right.
It can go really bad, or it can just be like a nice neutral
Or
conversation.
to be awkward.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like seeing our 16-year-old son. He has friends in, is it Spain?
Yeah, so
I mean, all around the world, and they're like,
a couple of them
I
are in
mean,
the
super
States.
close. They've been
Yeah.
talking for years. And I'm like, dude, why don't you ever, like, do you got friends at school? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, how come you don't ever, like, go to their house or anything? And he's like,
They
I
don't
don't
do it
know.
don't-
I don't have to.
You don't want me out there.
And I'm like, dude, I'd get home from school and take my school clothes off and I was right back outside. You know what I mean? So it's different trying to see that. And it's like, there's no hate on it. You know what I mean? Because I'm a gamer too, dude. I've been playing Call of Duty since it came out.
You mean when it was Medal of Honor?
Right.
Yeah, Medal of Honor. Oh, dude,
Yeah.
I love Medal of Honor.
Yeah.
Dude, so many games. But yeah, and then seeing my kid like just having friends in Spain, and dude, he calls flashlights torches, bro. All of his friends were from Great Britain
No,
or
I
wherever
don't
they
even
call them
think it
torches.
was that. I think it was because
And-
of Dan TDM, because that's
Yeah.
the one YouTuber that I allowed him to watch. Dan's the man.
Okay.
He's the man.
We're giving a shout out. Hopefully, he'll give us a shout out.
Word.
Yeah.
Also, he recently had a baby on my birthday, so Dan's the man.
Okay, there you go. Got
I'm a
bragging
mom
rights.
fan of him, so I allowed him to watch only Dan. Like he was family friendly. The worst cuss word he said was like "damn." I think he said Jesus, rolling his eyes one time. He was like, "Oh Jesus," like he messed up on the game or whatever. And so he would say, "I'm gonna put this lever right here, and I gotta put a torch up there, and all these things." And like Noah just picked it up as a kid.
He called
And-
light switches levers.
Yeah. And then just flip the lever. I'm like, what? Where did that come from? And it took us a minute to realize it was because of
It's
Yeah,
the lingo.
yeah.
That's his lingo essentially. Kind of like how all these new generations that are coming out with like what is it? What are some of these? words? Riz. Oh my lord. Skibbity.
I can't understand it.
And
I don't know what it means.
I have to look at my nieces and everything like
Translate.
translate, dumb it down for me so
Right.
that I can then use it in the right context when I talk to you.
Yeah.
Because sometimes they want me to use their lingo, and I'm like, fine. I don't care. I'll do it.
Yeah.
It's like, but it's like in the back of my mind, I'm like, how did you guys come up with this?
Yes. Where's
Like,
the
I
link
can't even
to
connect the
word?
dots to it, man.
Yeah.
Like, I can't. Like, where did it even come from?
Like cool
Isn't
cherry.
Riz mean
is
you
cool.
got game? Like,
You're asking the wrong.
rizzing
way.
me up?
I
It's
don't
like
know.
you're running
Yeah,
game on
it's
me?
like you got swagger or
Yeah.
game. It's like it's one of those words that has different contexts for different situations.
Yeah.
So it's just like that's why I'm like, I want to say my generation kind of screwed it up too. I think the kids had it going perfectly, and then my generation got involved with it and started adopting it, and then they started using it in the inappropriate sense. And I'm like, it's like yeah, like let the kids have fun. It's like we already had our fun. It's like we used to do cops and robbers. It's like the people forget about that game so much. I had a blast. I would go hide under bushes. I would jump over the bushes and throw myself down, and like just start crawling through the bush to try to run away because it's like I knew they weren't going to chase me because they were afraid of spiders and all that. Me, I'm like, I'm from El Salvador. We used to go in the jungle. So
Right.
it's
Right.
like,
This spider. I ain't scared of this spider.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
like
man.
Ozzy Osbourne, the spider.
Right. You pop out of the bush like, all the kids run away.
Throw it at them.
That's funny.
But yeah, the things the kids say nowadays are
It's
very
weird.
Yeah.
It's just so different, man.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's different, and it's probably great for them. They'll
Yeah.
probably grow up and say the same thing about their kids. Man, you guys don't have a childhood. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just a different kind of good for them. Like my good was going out and building forts and starting bonfires and cooking pizza rolls on a little piece of metal you find in the wood. Or something, you know what I mean? Like,
So, as parents, like, what's something you would tell parents nowadays that are still trying to figure out how to like get involved with their kids in a sense of like just, but at the same time still letting them have that imaginative freedom? Because that's a struggle right now where parents don't know what to do with their kids. They just know to either hand a tablet or essentially just kind of give them too much freedom to where they're managing themselves, which shouldn't be the case.
right. I don't know, man. I mean, it's like since we became restaurant owners, our kids are kind of managing themselves. We're gone like 14,
older.
14
They're
hours a day. They're a little older now. But I mean, I don't know, man. Like I struggled to connect with my 16-year-old because I come from a different world. You know what I mean? Like, so I was like, hey, man, we'll build a gaming computer together. I'm, like I said, jack of all trades. I can figure that shit out. Watched a couple YouTube University videos and, started compiling computer parts. And because I was building a Corvette at the same time. And our youngest son kind of takes after me on the mechanical side. And he wants to be out there, turning wrenches and all that. To where my 16-year-old and my oldest, I'm like, hey man, you gonna come out and we're putting the carb on the Corvette tonight. You want to come out? And he's like, I want to talk to my buddy in Spain, Dad. And I'm like, you know what? Like, I felt bad because the younger one was out there with me in the garage. He wasn't interested. And I'm like, you know what? Let's build a computer with him and I can, split my time with him. And I'm like, we do this together and you can play on it, blah, blah, blah. And it comes and I'm like all excited, man. It hurt my feelings, to be honest, dude. And that's what I would tell parents. Don't let your kids hurt your feelings.
Oh,
No, for real, dude, because I spent all this time and all this money getting all this computer stuff. I'm like, hey, dude, the box or the body or whatever, I get the frame to the computer's coming today, dude. And that's everything. It's the last thing we need. Let's put it together, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm pumped up to spend time with him, and we get it all down. So, like, I got it set up on a display for him to come home.
Yep.
And we sit down, and he was interested for about 3 minutes and walked away. And I'm like, dude, are you going to help me? And he's like, no, not really. I'll just play on it when you get done. And I'm like, all right. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I was going back to school at the time when I was still holding my regular job. And I don't know what he did, dude. The first week, he crashed it like 4 times, and I'm like, dude, I'm not losing my homework again. No, it's going to my room. You're done. You didn't help me build it anyway. Like, no, have fun on your PS5.
No rights to this.
This is mine.
And but I mean, it that hurt my feelings because like he was only thinking about the end result. As at the time, I think he was 14. Yeah. As any 14-year-old would, he just wants to play the games. You know what I mean? But I found out that he's not even mechanically inclined when it comes to pushing in USBs. You know what I mean? Like, he don't want nothing to do with that side of it. Yeah. But it was like, I had to stop myself from getting offended because I had expectations. You know what I mean? My expectations were he was going to come in and he's going to be like, oh, yeah. And we're going to have this grand time putting together a computer. And that's not what it was. And so, like, my feelings got hurt because my expectations that I put out weren't met that he knew nothing about. You know what I mean? And I was trying to bridge that gap and make that connection. And I found I made it another way. You know what I mean? He likes to talk about, he's a writer, he's a drawer, he makes stories and stuff. So I'll strike up conversations like that. Nice. And I mean,
you have to get to their interest, not let's find a middle ground of my interest.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
The only advice that I've ever given to a parent, even though I'm not a parent myself, I was like, we forget to listen. Yeah. Just watch them and just listen. And it's like they tell you everything you need to know about them, and then it's just like you just sneak in there.
Yeah.
That's literally it. It's just, so like if he likes drawing, it's like, finding a common art style and then just like, being like, hey man, it's like, look, I actually drew this a while back. It's like, maybe you might want to hold on to this. It's like, it's just trying to find things that kind of link up, because like for me, I've drawn before and I draw more of, I have to see what I'm drawing versus creativity wise.
Right.
And so it's just like, and then just by watching your kid draw, you can figure out, is he a creative drawer or is he actually somebody that has to see what he's doing?
Right.
And if he's a creative drawer at that point, it's like, that's where you're like, all right, what can I take him to just kind of like pique that interest in? And then you've already mentioned Spain. Plan an unexpected trip to Spain.
Right.
I know it sounds crazy, but it's just like
eventually.
I would love to do that.
It's like eventually, it's like, you may see the excitement, you may not, but again, it's like, don't build the expectation. But it's just like, it's an opportunity for y'all as a family to go to Spain. Right. When was the last time y'all been there?
Right.
So, but it's like now he has an opportunity to possibly meet his friend while you guys are there, but also he gets to now see what his friends have told him about.
Right.
So it's like, it'll just kind of be like all the lines connect with each other. You might see a different excitement that you haven't seen in a while. It's like, kids are weird. We'll never figure them out.
They're aliens. No. They really are. But I think the most important thing is to, like you said, listen, because they'll tell you exactly what they like, what they want. I get on their level. We always try to get on their level with anything, whether it's having a conversation about, hey, where was the process on that, or show me what you do, or whether it was encouragement or discipline, to just right here focus, not like see past them while they're talking.
It all comes so natural to you. Like it does not come natural to me. It's like I never had in my entire life had to put effort into making relationships work with people. Like even with you, like I didn't have to. I have to work at making a relationship with my kids, and it's weird because I shouldn't have to. And like my mind, in my heart, it should just be natural.
Right.
But they're like they're their own people, man.
They are.
They have their own
Again, they're aliens.
deals going on. You know what I mean? And like sometimes it's just.
It's good cop, bad cop.
Yeah, for sure. You got to be, man. It's like I have expectations for my kids, and there's that word again, expectations. But that my sons, like I want them to grow up and be productive members of society. I want them to be good people, not just good men, but good people. You know what I mean? And sometimes that takes hurting their feelings. You know what I mean? And I told them that, and that's my biggest advice to parents now is like, no lie, quit trying to be their friend. You're not their friend. Like, and you can be their friend at times, but you're their parent. You're supposed to guide them through life. You know what I mean?
That frontal lobe is non-existent.
It's not.
No, it's not. And you got to be that. And it's like I told my son that, it was a couple months ago. Yeah. He was slacking on his chores, and like dude, I take a shower in my house and I sleep in my house. Like I don't get to spend time there. You know what I mean?
They got a whole bachelor pad.
Right, that's what I told him. I was like, dude, you guys got a bachelor pad. And
it's like, y'all have no idea how good y'all are.
Right. Right. Dude. And I was like they call us like, can we DoorDash? And I'm like, nah, bro. There's food in the freezer.
I know there's pasta and butter. Throw some salt on that.
It's like, do you not know what we own? Get your butt fucking
right,
right. It's like, it's like make the business look good. It's like, be a customer line. We know you're our kid. We'll feed you, but it's like, be a line customer.
Right, yeah. But it's like I told him, I'm like, man, I said he was slacking off on chores. The older one specifically. The younger one is on it daily. Daily. He's just a worker. Where the other one, he's more worried about talking to his friends, playing games or whatnot. And I had to tell him, man, it's like, dude, you got to get, like, you turn 17 in a couple months. Like, you got to start, like, the little responsibilities what matter. Like, remembering to take out the garbage, mowing the lawn on Sundays when it's the day for you to mow the lawn. And
not just taking out the garbage.
Mowing the lawn, but weed whacking. Like, finish it. Don't half-ass anything. You know what I mean? Like, and he's getting on the other side of it now. You know what I mean? But I had to tell him, I'm like, dude, all right. That one night I told him, I'm like, I'm installing a controlled democracy here. You guys have a bachelor pad that I'm paying for, and from now on, you're going to get it clean, man. If I come home and you don't do your chores that day to completion, I'm putting tariffs on both your punk asses. And I'm like, if I come home and it's not done, I'm going to give you two choices, phone or computer. You're giving me one for 14 days. Yeah. And I said, and then you're not getting it back until I see 14 days consecutively of all your chores being done.
Oh, man.
Yeah. No, dude, I was done because, dude, I tried everything, bro. Like, my son is 6'5". He's 16.
He's tall.
You know what I mean?
No, it's fine. You can be a dictator. No.
He said, "Take it back. You're not.
No, you're good." It's
controlled democracy is not a thing.
It's like democracy don't work in this situation. It's just straightforward dictatorship. You got to chop down them legs.
Dude, exactly. And that's what, dude. I tried it. Like I tried positive reinforcement. I tried giving him money. I tried, and then it came to the anger side. You know what I mean? Where I told him, I looked at him. I'm like, dude, I'm not spanking somebody that looks me eye to eye, bro. I'm gonna snatch you up, homie. And he's like, and he looks at me, he's like, and I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm not playing no more, man. Like, you gotta listen.
I'm to my wits end.
And then when it came down to it, like I learned that, if I'm taking your phone or your computer, you get that choice because it's democracy. But if I don't see it for 14 days, then I'm giving you another choice, and it's going to be phone or bedroom and the TV. Whatever the object is that you have left out of the first two is going to be the list on the second two, and it's going to keep growing until you give me consecutive days of getting shit done, because consistency is the key to life. Yes. Consistently getting your head, because he missed the bus that day. Oh, and it was the third time in 2 weeks, and we had running to do. We had a lot of shit going on
Oh my
that
gosh,
day.
that day was bad.
And he doesn't understand that his little thing of oversleeping because he was talking to his buddy in Spain until 2 o'clock in the morning
Damn, Anthony.
can domino and screw up our life, our day,
Our day.
not our lives. And I explained that to him. And I'm like, dude, you are a year away from being able to fight and die for your country, and you can't drag your ass out of bed to go to school in the morning. That's not cool. I'm not down with half-assery because I spent the first half of my life half-assing everything.
Yeah.
And I don't want him to have the same struggles that I had to be able to get what I got. You know what I mean? It sounds weird.
Has your kid broken a bone?
Never.
One? Okay.
That one?
Oh, no, he's never broken. Neither one of them's broken a bone.
No, they've gotten into other trouble, but not.
Broken bones. Okay. You might have to take him to an event where consequences of possibly getting a broken bone. I think
So our house is 2 stories. So I just
Right
quickly
downstairs.
there you go.
Oh shit! You broke her.
So there's this like study per se, or at least like a philosophy that the kids that never break a bone usually, or the people that never broke a bone, they usually go through a lot of like mental growing
pain. Like,
yeah, they go through the emotional, spiritual, like it's all internal battles. It's not the physical that they deal with. It's like they have a come to Jesus moment.
Right. Yeah.
Over
And I
over
mean,
again.
I will say this: like, I am ultra proud of my 17-year-old. Right? Like,
He ain't 17 yet. Calm down.
Every time you add an age on a kid, it's like, that's.
Right. Yeah.
You fast forward, y'all.
Right,
Do that.
Sorry, 16. He's turning 17 in a few months. But, dude, he's not doing it.
Eventually.
You're right.
Like, he's a great big brother. He's a great son. He's got a great disposition to everything. He's laid back. And he's not doing what I was doing at 17. I know that, dude. I was out doing bad things.
Yeah.
And and he's at home. Like we're
You
here.
lived life, to be honest. You
Right.
lived life.
Yeah. But babe, it's a Saturday night. At what time is it?
I don't know.
If this was my mom back in 1996, she would have been like, I got to get home because I don't know what the hell that kid is doing. You know what I mean? And like, that's never a thought with us. Like, we never wonder what he's doing or what our kids are up to because
It's the little one.
And the little one's a little badass.
Yeah, he gonna be.
That's the one where you're like, yeah, we're gonna have a mug shot, but it's more or less like a funny mug shot.
Right. Yeah.
You guys have to call the cops yourselves just to try to scare them.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they're both of them are amazing.
They're great. And then, like, my dad, he's like old school. You know what I mean? He's like, the day he missed the bus, he's like, why don't you make him walk? I'm like, dude, that's like a 6-mile walk.
Over
and he's like, my dad made me do that in the winter. When I missed the bus, I had to walk to my high school. And I said, Dad, from where you live, because he lives just a little ways where I grew up. And I was like, Dad, that's 15 miles. And he goes, yeah, I didn't miss the bus again. And I go, I'm not doing that to my boy. You know what I mean? I was like, he was like, well, Grandpa made me. I go, Grandpa was an asshole. Yeah. I'm sorry. He's dead. Like, that's your dad. But that was an asshole move, dude. And he's
Didn't Grandpa also stab you with a fork?
Yeah, when I went down for the summer,
He
I
was
went
like,
to
that's
grab
my pork chop?
the last pork chop at the dinner table. It was you don't touch the, he's like, that's the man's choice to get the last piece of meat. And I'm looking at him like, the hell? Like I was like, my mom raised 5 boys by herself. You know, I'm the oldest of the 5. You know what I mean? Like, that's not how it worked at our house. Right. Like, you got it while it was theirs.
Right. It's like first dibs.
Yeah, but I mean, all in all, like, if my kid misses the chores here, and that's what I told my dad. He's like, you got to be harder on him. I go, Dad, he's not out catching felonies and getting drunk and all that stuff at 17. I think if the biggest worry I have is that he didn't do the dishes today. And he's doing pretty damn good.
Yeah.
You know, so.
I think I also messed him up on that. Because I was like, well, the dishes will be there later. Let's enjoy what's happening now. And when they were younger, for so long.
Evidence,
100%.
No.
And I came to this realization a long time ago. And I think it was when I started going to school, because I wasn't so active at home. I would go to school in the morning and then go to work. And so I wasn't getting home till like 10:30. Mm-hmm. Like, to the point where I'm like changing into my work outfit as I'm driving back from Reno to go to work. So I think it was like the 3rd month into me being home. I'm like, you guys, You're killing me here. I can't. And then it all flooded the gates because they're just in the moment. They're just two of them hanging out in the living room, bullshitting. Aaron's hanging out, probably snoozing on the couch, and everything is a tornado. And I'm like, whoa, what happened? I have been gone, but that shouldn't mean anything. And then they were playing something or on the Wii or some shit, playing Mario Kart or something.
No. That's when we had all the glow in the dark.
The glow in the Was
it the beads?
No.
What was it?
The necklaces.
Yeah, glow in the dark necklaces. Is that what it was?
From Walmart because we had a dance party.
Yeah, we had 100, but like we had a dance party the night she was there.
Yeah.
But then the next night, me and the boys decided to play dodge beads. So we turned off all the lights and we're whipping beads at each other in the dark. It was a blast, dude.
I'm
it was
sure
awesome.
It was excellent for them. I'm so glad. And they were in the moment. And even the night that I came home where I was like, what's going on?
But see, that's not fair. You guys didn't include her.
I know. They were still in the moment. And I'm like, I instilled that. The dishes will be there tomorrow.
Yeah.
Enjoy what you have going on here. Yeah. And back in the day, I should have just did the dishes, but
honestly, it's like I kind of want to try that out. Even though it's the apartment complex that I live in, it's just like just shut all the lights off. But we have dogs.
Yeah,
it's like I don't trust them not eating those things.
Right. I think they're non-toxic, aren't they? The glow in the dark ones.
I don't know.
The necklaces were.
I don't want to speak on that, and then he'll go get it. And his dog gets sick. Yeah.
I'll Google it too. It's more or less. It's like those knuckleheads will eat everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anything. And it's just like, and the way how I put it, even if it says non-toxic, eat enough of something, it will mess you up.
For sure.
Yeah.
That'd be funny.
I'm convinced that our Corso, she almost died.
Dude,
it was horrible. She had ingested something. I don't care what the vet says because she was okay 1 minute, and the next minute, dude, she is like spraying the bathroom walls with the most horrible liquid that I've ever seen come out of any living thing, dude. It was horrible. Like she was vomiting in the bathroom and spraying out the other end up the walls.
Yeah, it was terrible, dude.
No, it was horrible. And then, dude, it was bad because you could tell she was like looking at her ass, wondering what's going on because the spray went around the room.
It's like a sprinkler system.
Dude, like 3 foot up the wall, bro. Yeah. And it smelled like she ate a dirty athletic shoe from 1982 and it just sat in there festering. Dude, it was and then she lost like 15 pounds in 2 days. Yeah. We put her in intensive care at the vet. Like they were testing liver.
They couldn't. I think for a second they thought it was parvo.
For a second
they tested her, but
they tested her twice for parvo, and she said the tests for parvo are barely ever like a false negative.
Yeah.
Like they're always like really accurate.
It's very sensitive.
Like 2 times it came back, her liver was okay, and the scary thing was. It's exactly what happened with our pit bull. She was 13 or 14.
Minus the blood.
She just started getting lethargic and kind of shut down. They were like, it's the liver kind of deal.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. So like we're thinking that's what it was with our new dog. And we put her in ICU and then they kept her hydrated.
Yeah, they pumped her up with a bunch of fluids, gave her a bunch of vitamins.
Yeah, and then she came home and 3 days later, dude, she's running around and eating like nothing happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, you were on the verge of, like, she smelled like death from 20 feet away.
No.
My German Shepherd, I love him and I hate him so much at the same time. I never thought I could have that type of relationship with a dog. So I invested in crypto, right? And I was winning. I had put $50 and it was sitting at like $800, $900, right?
Nice.
I'm all like, yes. Right? Well, out of nowhere, I hear this dingus just literally start like hucking, like he's choking to death. And I'm like, what in God's name did you do? And he could not throw up. And so it's just like, vets, whatever. So I ended up shoving hydrogen peroxide down his throat.
Okay.
Just a quick little spritz because it does actually damage the throat if it gets on there. Okay. Because I needed to force him to throw up. Hydrogen peroxide makes dogs throw up. It's a proven thing. And whatever the vet says, they can kiss my behind on that one. It's like, I know I did wrong. It's like, but at the end of the day, I had to do what I had to do because I'm like, I've got money for the vet. Right. Well, eventually I got him to hook up everything. And it turned out that he just ate too fast and he ate all his food.
Yeah.
And he gave himself an impaction.
Oh, wow.
But I still took him to the vet because he was still hucking afterwards. So I'm like, oh, God, please tell me you don't got bloat.
Yeah.
Right. Take him to the vet, Dude looks like he's dying the whole entire drive. I'm bawling out in the car like, oh, I'm gonna lose my dog. Give it about an hour. And, you know, my girl's crying too about the dog because of the whole situation. Give it about an hour. He's in the vet, comes back, wagging tail, freaking happy as hell. No muzzle. He was all like, we're good. False alarm. And I was just like, all that time in crypto.
Yep.
Just gone in less than an hour. And I was just like, I'm gonna kill you. And I looked at him in front of the vet. I literally said it. I looked at him. I'm like, the next time you do something like this, I'm letting you die. And right in front of the vet. And then they asked me, like, why would you say that? I'm like, I love him. I really do. But the thing is that he set himself up for this one. Because then I got to tell them what had happened. And they looked at me. They're like, I'm like,
He needed to know.
He needed to know.
He
ate his food too fast. And he has a slow eater.
Oh, no way.
And I'm like, how? Like, how?
He flipped it upside down. He pawed that.
Yeah.
Flipped it upside down.
So
is it suction?
We got a little bougie with ours. Yeah. So we ended up getting it to where it actually has like little lifts on the edges of it, so that if he tries to tilt it, the little poles on the side won't even let. So we literally bought something more expensive to prevent that. No, it's just that he just inhaled it and almost killed himself. Lo and behold, just recently our other dog, another vet visit. Guess what? My crypto, whatever this long term, just gone. So literally, I have. So this is the thing that it's everywhere. Crypto is still gambling, but I only invested a total of $250. I had turned that $250 to roughly close to $2,000.
Yeah,
nice. Gone.
Right.
So now I'm back at square zero, but the crypto that I had invested in previously has gone down to where I originally bought. So nice. I'm like, it's at an even cheaper price. Yeah. Right. So that $200 is going to be worth a lot more shares. Right. So I'm like, I'll toss once I get a couple of days of overtime, I'll toss it. Right. But dog number 2, come home on the bed, didn't even move, and she's an older girl, so I kind of already expect it, but. It's still that shell shock that is like literally I left home, she was wagging all happy dappy, and come home, laying on the bed. Right. Didn't even move, not even flinch. I know. Well, here's the thing though, she actually was limping. So I don't know if she had a torn ligament or hip sore or hip dysplasia. We didn't know. But after a couple of days, she started getting better. I'm like, all right, cool. She gave us our scare, but we still took her to the vet.
Dramatic.
Again, that's my fiance's first dog, and like that she's had since a baby. Yeah. So I get it. I'll throw the extra money, even though I don't want to, and she can hear me say this because she knows I'd say it straightforward. Yeah. All right. But it hurt the wallet.
Yeah. It just hurt. That goes my credit too. Yeah, we did with the old lady. She anytime. She what time was it when I got home? When Khalif first started acting wonky. It was like 10:30. Yeah, 10:30, and she just wouldn't move. And then I had to bring her in, slept on the couch with her, took her to the emergency vet in Fallon. And they were like, well, it could be a plethora of things, but her liver's probably going. But we could have taken her to the Reno hospital, which would have been like $1,300 a night. Yeah. And I was like, I can't do that. Yeah. She's like 13, 14 years old. I think it's time. Yeah, but her liver started failing and she lost a bunch of weight. It was time for her to go.
Yeah.
She wanted to check out.
Some dogs, they just surprise us with some of the most craziest symptoms, and then it's like either they're going to be fine, or it's like, no, it's at the end of the road. Yeah. But you never know because there's like they're not like us. We show when we're like, yeah. It's like, the little Peter Griffin scraped the knee. It's like we show when we're hurting. Right. Dogs, on the other hand, it's very hard.
Especially like working dogs or guard dogs, like German Shepherds and Pit Bulls. They have such a high threshold for pain that they can be hurting and you have no clue. Yep. You know what I mean? And then by the time you find out, it's just bad.
I don't think we've ever needed like the vet to come in and intervene with Khalid because of something major when she was a puppy.
No, she was a really healthy dog. That's why it was such a shocker. Yeah. It was like literally in one day.
Purebred or mutt?
Purebred. She was actually a purple ribbon bred, dual registered 7th generation Juan Gotti. Like I paid big money for her. She was like the epitome of what a standard pit bull should look like.
I'll show you a picture of her.
She was blue. She was blue with white vest. She had the black dots from the Juan Gotti bloodline. Yeah, I got her from my buddy's kennel. He had a kennel called Lightning Latch Kennels, and the parents were great temperament, great dog. Dude, I've never had a dog that learned and trained so fast and stayed. Like, just a great, she never got aggressive. She protected my kids, my wife. You know what I mean? Like, she was just an all around awesome
You
dog.
literally paid what you got. And it's like,
Yeah,
just showed.
Yeah.
And that's where I kind of like still worry about like how genetics work. Is like we're losing a lot of really good breeds and a lot of good genetics because of neglect. It's like my German Shepherd, supposedly, in quotations I say supposedly, because I adopted him like literally the first year of COVID. Ironically, I was one of those statistics. It's like, most people are going to get pets because they're at home all day. But for me, it was actually my job allowed me to like actually be able to have a dog. So, supposedly the person I adopted him from said that his parents were purebred. But because of the fact that they got him so cheap, they didn't do the paperwork. So the legality side of it. And I'm like, I don't believe you, but I love him. So I'm just going to take him regardless off your hands. And it's like, and you know, I kind of believe that he's a little bit of a purebred because of the aspects of all the freaking issues he has. Because usually the purebred German Shepherds, they have everything down the line that you can think of when it comes to he just checks off every box. Oh my god! Whoa! You're serious about the spots?
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. It's like if I was at a bar and the dog was sitting like that, I would just talk to it.
How you doing, Shody?
Like, I would just legit be like, "Do you want me to buy you a drink?" It's like you're just sitting here.
She sat like a human, even like she would sit with her legs like out in front of her and like sit on the almost her tail. And she would just have her belly sitting out like mine. And she'd just be like, "What's up, man?" Like,
I think you have a picture. You said, "Hey, babe," and I looked at you like this, and you have a picture of us with the same look on our face. I was like, "Huh?" And she was staring at him like, "Aren't you gonna play with me? Why are you just sitting there?"
She was such a crackhead.
Yeah, she was.
My grandpa bred German Shepherds. And my dream, my entire life as a kid, I wanted a white German Shepherd so bad, just an all white German Shepherd, and I wanted to name him Blanco and all this. And I remember I was like 12 years old, and my grandpa, he trained them for the police force wherever he lived at or whatever, like military and police dogs. So he didn't get rid of them until they were a year old because he trained them and then sold them to whoever the hell he sold them to. And he had this dog, and he called me. He had a white German Shepherd. He had like 25 or 30 at the time. It was insane, dude. He had
so
like
for
packs.
him to just have that one white one, you were just like,
and he called me and told me, and I would have been so mad. Now that I'm a parent, if my mom was to call one of our kids and offer them an animal without talking to us, oh my god, dude, I cried because he was like telling me he was going to train it for me and this and that, and when I could come down that summer and pick him up, and blah 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 blah, and then I go to mom, single mom in middle of Flint, Michigan.
5 boys.
Yeah, with 5 boys.
You got hit with that. Are you out of your mind?
You got dog food money.
It's like, I don't need to raise another boy.
You want me to have 6 of you?
She's like, you don't even remember to take a bath, let alone feed an animal. Like, no. And dude, I cried, dude, I swear, like the entire summer, like, and just pestered and pestered. And my mom wouldn't do it. And she was right, dude. I wouldn't have took care of that dog. You know what I mean? But like, I never had dogs growing up. And then when I had my family of my own, we got a dog, you know, but I don't get as connected to animals as she does. Like, they're like her children to me, where they're just a fleeting companion. You know what I mean? Like,
I have the best of both worlds per se. So when I was a kid, my first dog, unfortunately, he got out. I held a huge resentment towards my grandma and aunt at the time because we were in El Salvador. They were taking care of the dog. Apparently, the dog got out, got ran over. And when I was on the phone, they're like, "Oh, we need to talk to your parents." Because I asked, like, "Where's my dog?" Because he could bark. Whenever he heard my voice on the phone, he would still bark.
Oh yeah.
And so, and then come home, find out he's dead. We had a funeral for a dog. But I was so devastated. My grandpa gave me a $50 bill, and I still remember it to this day. $50 bill, clean as day, ripped it right in his face, and I'm like, "That's not my dog," cursing, and this is me, yay high, doing all this, and I'm like, man, it's like I was ruthless when it came to the dogs, and then now it's like I'm on those both. I have that battle of both sides of the spectrum where I'm like, it's just a dog. dog. And then the other side of me, I'm like, man, I love you.
But
man.
he the cute little dog.
Yeah. Where it gets me is like, man, it was like 6 months after Khaleesi got put down. You were at work, and I put Abel down to go to sleep, and Khaleesi used to sleep with Abel every night until we got to bed. Then she would sneak out of his bed and come to ours.
Yeah.
But she would not leave him until he fell asleep. Yeah. And I'm laying down in the room, and I'm watching TV, and I hear like that, and I'm like, what is that noise? And I pause the TV, and I hear Abel crying. And I go in there, and dude, it just broke my heart. He's like, I miss Khaleesi. So she used to lay right here, Dad. And I'm like, oh, buddy. You know, but it's like, so he takes after that. But like, I was sad. Like, I missed her, you know what I mean? But
it wasn't like that.
No, like to the heart. You know, I was more sad because she was sad, and the boys were sad. Like, I watched my family go through this loss, where I felt completely separated from it. Like, I was like, oh, that sucks. We can go on vacation now, though. You know what I mean? Like, that's...
I'm pretty sure I hope you didn't say those specific.
No, I didn't. But I mean, like, that's like how it transitions for me. I'm like, fuck freedom.
Right.
Like,
we don't got to worry who's got a dog soon.
Right.
We don't got to worry about the dog soon.
And then we got 2 more.
Well, no, we had Jack.
Yeah, we had Jack. He was a little butthead, but whatever. This dog, he was a res dog. She rescued him. And the Jack wars of 2019.
Household.
No, dude, he brought this dog into my house and he started devouring it. Like, he literally ate a hole in the drywall in our laundry room. He ate the landing on our stairs, the trim under the rail. He nibbled on it like a freaking corn on the cob, dude. And took like an inch of it off. Yeah. And I mean, like,
I had to like fix it.
Everything. And not only that, I'm like severely allergic to this dog. So I'm allergic to some dogs. It's not breeds, it's not color, it's anything. It's specific personal dander of dogs.
Yeah.
It shut down my lungs, my eyes itch, I break out in hives. I'm allergic to this damn dog. He's been in my house for 7 years now.
You're not allergic to the damages, right? You're allergic to just...
But he comes in there, and like Jacob in Twilight, he freaking imprints on me.
On the guy that can't breathe. Can't breathe.
The dog is absolutely in love with me.
He does love you.
And I'm just like...
I can't breathe.
Like, you're killing me, boy. Right. And that's when he was a puppy. He was bad, dude. Bad dog. Then he kind of chilled out, but he like tormented our pit bull. She was an adult, and he was just constantly messing with her, dude. Like, he was like constantly. Yeah. And then so we put her down. He's now an old man, and we get this Corso puppy, and she is like 10 times worse than he ever was.
Oh, so he's getting his taste.
Oh, dude, it's like, it's so golden. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, "How you little bastard, finally. You're getting like payback."
Did you record it, like the payback?
All kinds of stuff, dude. And he looks over at you, dude, and his ears are all like, she's chewing on his back leg. And he's looking at me like, do something, Dad. And I'm like, no, that's called karma, dude. Like, you're getting it all, bro.
It's like you start showing him the like photo album of all the things he did.
For real.
I'm like, look, you like play it. It's like this is all you right here.
Yeah. And I know he understands, dude. I know he does.
Poor Jack.
Yeah, no, and then I give him love afterwards. But like the Corso is such an attention hog. Like, you can't go to pet him, and she's immediately in between you. Like, you know, she's a butthead. But she's super smart. Super smart dog. Almost scary smart, dude.
The one thing I still am impressed of, we've managed to make such an amazing creature have anxiety.
Right.
I still can't fathom that idea that we managed to give a dog anxiety.
Right.
Like, it's official that dogs get a prescription for anxiety.
Yeah.
Dude,
and
that's
I'm like,
crazy.
How?
Yeah.
Right.
It's like these guys used to survive in the wilderness and hunt us.
Right.
Not
only that, go to war.
Yeah, War Dog. That's just a good movie.
Oh, funny story. I don't. And then after this, I'll let you guys give some shout outs to whoever you want, and then we'll kind of. I don't want to take up more of your time. Yeah. I saw this on the internet. Apparently, that there was a duck and I was like, and I'll definitely send you guys the link to that.
Oh, yeah.
There was a Marine, and actually received actual rank because it fought a freaking rooster during the war on the opposite
Really?
war. Yeah, and I
That's
think it was
kinda
during
cool.
the Vietnam War. I think.
No way.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I'll find the video and I'll
Yeah.
send it to you guys. But yeah,
Absolutely.
I was like, this is. I love this.
Yeah.
It's like this makes America even 10 times better. It's
Right.
like we had a damn duck
You're
or
right.
a goose fight for us
Yeah.
and freaking kick ass.
Top
And
rank
actual
Marine.
war.
That's awesome.
And
That's
they gave them a rank. Yeah.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
That's
actually
dope.
gave them an actual honorary rank for that. And I'm
That's
like,
cool.
only in America.
Right.
Right?
So only in the specific. I'm going to say specifically the Marine Corps. They're a different breed. They're
Right.
a different breed of human beings. It's
They
like, and
For
every
sure.
other branch acknowledges that Marines are Marines, and there's
Yeah.
nothing you can say.
They make a
about
joke about them eating crayons or something like
Hell,
that.
and now they have adopted it to part of their diet.
Right?
Oh my god.
yeah, no, that's
That's funny.
So I do appreciate the time. Like I said, it's
Yeah.
like, trust me. Like I said, normally it's 2 hours long. I don't want to take up that much of your guys'
Alright.
time. You guys
Yeah.
have family time. You
Yeah.
guys have a business to run, and at the same time, I value everybody's time.
Oh.
So if you guys want to give a shout out or a piece of advice, whatever you want to do, the floor is yours, and then we'll just kind of end it from there.
Go ahead, babe.
No, you go first.
You go first?
Yeah.
Definitely shout out Russ Ferretto. No, seriously, man, he's an awesome guy. No, man, Fernley, dude. Just Fernley in general. It's been great to us. Fernley's been a great community. The people within the community who make it what it is. Like I said, I think God has a plan for everything. And, as much as we try to fight it, we end up where we're supposed to end up.
Yep.
And I firmly believe that Fernley is my family now. And like that, everything that's happened in my life has led to this moment, and I'm happy that it led me here. I don't know. I'm just super grateful. You know what I mean? Like, 'cause we bust our butts every day, and we do it because we love Fernley and we love to serve Fernley. But it's just, I don't know. It's crazy to be where we're at right now. Like, it's
What is our life even right now?
right. Yeah.
Oh my god, that's
And
insane.
it's crazy. It's lots of work, but I mean, it's worth it every day, man. And it's just, that's who I want to shout out the most is Fernley, because they give us the opportunity to do this. And by the grace of God, we've done it good so far. And we want to carry that into being able to do more of that, the horseshoes and, live concerts, stuff like that. Give Fernley a social hub to come and hang out and, have some cold ones and some good food and throw some horseshoes. You know what I mean? And that's the biggest shout out is there's so many people from this community that stepped up to help us and like pull strings. And you got Michelle and Kim Barney at Nevada Prime Realty and the Equity Group. They're amazing people who have like been more mentors to us than I think they even realized, because they really stepped up into the face of challenges and got stuff done, dude.
Yeah.
And they did it with a level of professionalism I don't think a lot of people would have. And they just really, just so many awesome people here, dude.
We could go on for days.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, the only advice I got, dude, is like, follow your dreams. You know what I mean? No matter how silly they might seem, like, how many things didn't become reality to people because they brought it up to their friends and then their friends told them it was stupid. They didn't chase their dream. Like, people told me I was crazy because I wanted to start a restaurant. Why would you want to do that? There's no profit in it. So sometimes the profit's not all money driven. You know what I mean? I feel like my own man now. Like, we're our own family. It's weird. I'm not getting a check signed by somebody giving it to me. You know what I mean? It's like I'm providing that part of the family that we talked about earlier. It's like when we lived on our farm, dude, there was a sense of pride when I harvested a deer and I processed that deer and I made my own hamburgers and then cooked it for my family that night. That's kind of like what it is now, being a small business owner in my mind. I feel like I'm kind of paving the way for my family, to make a name for themselves when they get older. So that's it, man. I would have never started if I wouldn't have took that leap of faith. That's what made me do it. That's my advice. Watch the video by Steve Harvey, The Leap of Faith. Dude, it motivated me to change my entire world. That one video.
Shout out, Steve Harvey.
Yeah.
You're gonna get us on, live TV with that one.
Eventually.
Yeah.
We can talk about his mustache.
Oh, as much as the man cracks me up, his mustache,
Yes.
I always stare at it.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
What does he do?
What's the regimen?
I don't know, but I don't want to think about it because comparison is the thief of joy, and I love my goatee.
You do.
It's because he's had the same barber for like 20 years.
Oh yeah.
That's the secret. There's no
For
getting
sure.
around it. And
Yeah.
how much he pays that barber, that's the reason why it stays that way.
Right? Yeah, no
Yeah.
kidding. Right.
Yeah.
What about for you? What do
Shout out. Insert your name here. That's it.
To what?
Insert your name here. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. You covered it all.
What?
a local friendly business that you're
All
friends
of
with? Oh, of course.
All of
I
them.
can't make you go down to this. Or even shout out a friend from years ago that you can't even remember. It was like, you never know.
Shout out to our kids for putting up with our shit for the last 3 years and the next lifetime. Because
Y'all
mom
stuck.
loves you and I'm sorry.
It's like y'all stuck here forever.
Forever. Where's the coffee? Where's the sweater? Let's go.
Oh, one more shout out that I forgot
Yeah.
since you are drawing a blank. Dude, my mom was a 63-year-old woman.
Oh yeah, gang.
Walked away from her job to help us chase our dreams.
Yeah.
Like, dude, she quit her cush ass job that she was doing. Like, I mean, she loved it.
Yeah.
I mean, she still goes when I need help. But, dude, she walked away from that and then came and worked 12 hours a day when we first opened up. For like the first 6 months, it was me, her, and my mom. She was going to Cosmo School. I was still working for the tech company. But my mom was there from open to close.
Yeah.
Hey,
And I did, like, one
big
day.
shout out to Mama.
Yeah, big shout out, dude. Like I broke down in tears one day in the restaurant. I'm like, Mom, not a lot of moms would walk away from what they got going on in life to help their kids chase their dreams like this. And I appreciate that more than you'll ever know.
Mm-hmm.
And dude, she still works there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's probably the biggest shout out.
Yeah.
Because we would not have been able to do it if she would have done that. So
Mama.
there, I took your
Thank you.
30 seconds.
Yeah.
And then, now comes a piece of advice. You got anything, piece of advice or anything?
Always listen to your husband.
Never listen to her. Go with the gut.
Yeah.
He's always wrong. Just kidding. Piece of advice. Just do it.
Copying Maggie?
Yeah.
Right, you know that's going to get us like sued.
No, but it's
not.
Just do it. No, I'm copying Shia LaBeouf. Just do it.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's even better. He'll definitely sue us.
He'd be like, yeah, dude.
Dude, have you watched some of his podcasts he's on? He's a pretty deep dude.
Oh no, trust me. I grew up on Shia LaBeouf. It's
Yeah.
like honestly, when he went off the deep end, it's like I was happy to hear that somebody was there for him to help pick up the pieces and help him like see what's going on and just get him to where he's at now again.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, he does have a little bit of like where so-called relapse, but it's like he's still fighting. It's like the man let's be honest, he was sitting on a throne.
Mm-hmm.
And he got knocked off that throne. Anybody that gets knocked off a throne, you don't know how to handle it sometimes.
Right. Yeah.
So it's like, I look forward to seeing what he comes out with next. Because like, I respect him as an actor, but also respect him as a person. And at the same time, all the bad publicity, it's like, you know, bad publicity is still publicity at the end of the day. And I'm like, I don't focus on that. It's like I focus on the factor that is like the childhood movies I watched that he inspired me on is like, you know, the fact that he got to make out with Megan Fox. But, you know, that's just the dude in me. But it's just like, but stuff like that, I'm just like, you know, he accomplished things that a lot of people would only dream of.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, so don't look at the negative things, look at the positives. And then if you do see a negative, look at how he got past the negatives to the next positive.
And a lot of people don't realize, dude, sometimes relapse is a part of recovery. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you got to dip your toe back in that water to find out that it's really not for you. You know what I mean? And that's just, you can't not respect a man or any person that can beat addiction, dude. I mean, you never really truly beat it, but to keep fighting it every day and coming out on top is a huge thing, dude, especially in that lifestyle, the Hollywood lifestyle. Dude, I can only imagine.
I don't think I could handle it. Just being honest, I don't think I would be able to do it. It's like, I would be able to, like, you know, the socialization aspect, I think I can handle that, but the actual work ethic that's behind it, I don't think I could do it. Because there is a work ethic behind it.
Yeah,
it's
huge one.
It's like, look at Denzel Washington. It's like, you really think that he don't throw down hours and hours and hours of time. It's like, and not only that, the actors he's invested in that have come up as like his shows.
Yeah, dude, Denzel Washington is one of my heroes, man.
He's amazing.
One of my heroes, dude. There's so many awesome stories that come out of Hollywood.
Yeah.
That's I love to hear about it, man. Like, that's cool stuff. But no, dude, we appreciate your time.
Oh no,
it's
like for me, it's like I, just like how you said you had your dream. It's like I pushed this onto somebody to try to do a podcast. Like I wanted you to be a co-host because I knew that my life was going to be busy. But then things fell out, and then I'm like, all right, well, I guess now I just try it and go for it. And I did it, and I appreciate y'all for giving me an opportunity to create another episode.
Yeah, absolutely.
What,
Man. That's
what
awesome.
episode are you on?
So this will technically be episode 3, but I think I'm going to push it to episode 2 because you guys are doing the grand opening soon.
Oh, yes.
So I'm going to try to get it out this Friday so that people can then listen up to it, which now, have you told everybody the official announcement date of the...
No.
We have not yet.
Okay, so do we want to keep that on the DL? Or...
Yes.
Yeah, so I mean, our grand opening will be, we're going to target like June 8th or 7th, 8th, or 9th, whichever one's a Friday.
Yeah.
Okay. So then I can push the episode back just so that it kind of leans in.
Well, so we'll do a soft opening.
We're having a soft opening, so we're going to be open to the public before the grand opening. But as soon as we make that announcement, we might as well do a grand opening. So I have to utilize that transition time where it's not super busy when we announce like the grand opening to train our new folks.
Do you want to use the podcast as like a secret society type of thing? Is like, we post a link on the Fernley page and those who listen to it get to actually come on a specific day you guys say on the podcast.
No way.
And then at that point, it's not an official grand opening, but it's kind of like hey.
Gets it out there, but not, because that's what we want to do. Because if we do a grand opening, the Fernley's been clamoring for this to be open.
Yeah.
If we do a grand opening right off the back, we're not going to get any training time.
Yeah.
Like,
so I think that maybe the Secret Society episode, that's a little kind of like trailer. So, I mean, what day would you hypothetically want to put on it?
May 8th.
May 8th?
Yeah.
All right. So it's just like, if whoever listens to the podcast, they'll be able to know that, hey, you might want to show up on this day here.
Yeah.
Yeah. May 8th is a Thursday. That'll be our first day open to the public. That's what we're targeting right now. We have everything lined up except for stocking the bar and getting deliveries. So we're working on that side, but we're pretty confident that May 8th will be the first day in operations for the public.
Yeah.
And then a month from then doing the grand opening.
Okay. So is there a specific time you guys are looking at for May 8th? Or?
So the first month will be the same hours as the Little Shack, 11 to 8 for the kitchen. The bar stays open until we stop selling. Like if my bartender is not selling X amount per hour, it's time for last call. If you're selling it per hour and you feel like staying, go ahead and stay.
Okay.
Like I'm leaving that in their court. But yeah, and then after the soft opening, or that's what we're calling it, but after the grand opening, the kitchen will go from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. And then Friday and Saturday, it'll be maybe Thursday, it'll be 10 to 10.
Okay.
And then the bar, whenever the bar's open, we will have bar food with hot dogs, French fries, jalapeno poppers. The different novelty stuff that the bartender will go back and drop in the fryer and come back out. Like that.
Keep the show going.
Yeah, and help people stay a little sober. You know what I mean? Like I'm all down for getting drunk and have a good time, but please don't drive home that way.
Yes,
right.
You know what I mean? Gotta have the famous key holder.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep, for sure. Yeah.
There will be a bucket.
And our bartenders are all going to take the responsible liquor pours class. That's a requirement in Reno, but here it's not. But it's going to be company policy as a requirement.
That's good.
Yeah, dude, because being an alcoholic, I know where it can go. And I can see where it can go bad. But at the same time, alcohol is a big part of a lot of people's lives that don't have a problem with drinking it. Yeah. You know what I mean? And we want to provide that for everybody, but we also want to provide a safe environment for people to be able to get home safely. We don't have a lot of cab companies here in Fernley. I don't even know if there's an Uber.
It's literally going to be, Aaron, take me home. And
and if I got to do that, I'll do it. You know what I mean? But just so people have a safe and fun environment.
Yeah.
There'll be an all-point Uber system. It's like It's like you got a little dry erase board. Put your name up here if you
Right.
think you
I'll be
need
right
a
back.
ride.
Yes.
It's like
Right.
Yep.
Right. Hey, maybe we'll come out with a combo someday on
Yeah.
like big events. If you buy this VIP ticket, it includes a ride home.
because you're gonna need it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So yeah, it'll be cool, man. It'll be it's only a couple weeks away for that soft opening, so
Hey, I'll be here.
we're adding to the menu. We'll have pizzas, seafood, steaks, Italian dishes. Not doing too many Italian dishes just because we got one of our friends, Papa's Pizzeria. I don't want to, step on his toes too much.
Yeah.
Be a respectful business owner, But Freedom Espresso's getting in on it. Royal Carpet One next door. We touch base with them. The grand opening weekend, they're going to have booths set up, and we're going to kind of collaborate together and
Do something
make it
fun.
like a 3-day multi-business thing, and kind of.
We want to do like a block party.
I love that.
Yes,
Block
but
party. But yeah, and we got classic car clubs that are going to come, and
Sounds like I gotta pull out my camera and dust it off.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Show off
sure.
that I used to do photography for car shows.
Absolutely.
oh, right on, yeah, dude. We got a
Yes.
lot of cool cars
Yeah.
that are going to show up for our grand opening. A couple of the motorcycle clubs, they want to have a motorcycle day, a bike night or whatever.
Damn.
And I'm down with it all as long as they don't.
They won't. They're all good.
They're all no, they're super good guys. I
They're
just
all
don't
good
want
guys.
no drama between clubs
I don't think
here. They know we're Switzerland.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like
I really don't think it's an issue out here.
it's not.
No, because it's like literally, it's like everywhere that I've seen bikers here, I haven't seen any issues between
No,
bikers,
they-
or never even heard of a brawl.
No,
The only
they're
time I've
super
heard of
cool.
brawl is in Virginia City or in Reno.
Yeah.
Clubs
Virginia
out
City is a
here are
different
great.
ballpark.
No, they're all super cool. I mean, they've offered to do security for us, and want me to come cater at their clubhouse, here and there when they having big meets and stuff. No, they've actually been like super supportive.
Absolutely.
But what's that? I don't know the name of the hotel in the movie John Wick, where everybody knows there's no business happens on the property. That's what we are. We're like the hotel in John Wick.
Yeah.
You can all come and gather here, but ain't gonna be no shit, dude.
No.
It's like,
I don't even think we'll have issues with them. I think we'll
No.
have issues with other people.
No,
Yeah,
they're
no.
all super cool.
If there's any issues, it'll
Yeah.
be issues with the random flyby. That's
No,
coming
if
through.
anything, dude, we wouldn't need security because the
Because
bikers
they're
would
all
take care of
hanging
it for us. Yeah, especially the club members. They'd be
Right.
like, dude, you ain't doing that in Aaron Michelle's spot.
So you know how like there's the 10 Commandments? It's
Uh-huh.
like you guys should maybe find like a little poster board that becomes the famous thing. It's like where it's kind of like the 10
Oh,
Commandments,
yeah, that's
but it
Nice.
has
That's
that rule
Good
Yeah.
idea, dude.
of the John Wick hotel.
it's what's
Yeah,
right.
I like that.
Yeah, that's cute.
Then we got all these tin signs up here. We could put it up, get a bigger one right there above
Yeah.
the doorway. I like it. I got a laser engraver, so I can do it myself.
There you go. Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
just like at that point, it's like it's kind of, it's almost like if somebody starts breaking one of the rules, it's just like
Yeah,
it's like hey, it's like we don't repeat it. We just say
Right.
it's right there,
yeah,
and it's like and people understand, especially with movie connections. They'll be like, oh, we got it.
yeah, for sure.
Because John Wick, people, regardless of how violent it is, I love
It's
that
an
movie.
Dude,
excellent.
It's now one of those movies. It's like The Matrix, where everybody knows about The Matrix. It's like John
Yeah.
Wick. Everybody knows about John.
Yeah.
There's no dodging it.
Yeah,
He
no.
definitely loved dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, he fought a whole mafia over his dog
He
getting killed.
did.
He has a wife too. Don't forget.
Well,
Oh yeah, the wife. That's right.
The dog was the straw, though. Right?
I thought the wife was the first one and the dog was the second one.
Yeah. So the wife passed away from an illness, and then
Yeah.
the dog was the
Was
like
her gift.
it was the gift was the last gift that he received from her.
That's
So that was the
right.
catalyst of like
The whole thing. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
that's how I tell my grandma, look, don't give me gifts, and she's like, why? I'm like, because if somebody takes that gift from me,
Right.
Right. Yeah.
whatever happens to the world, I have no
Right.
responsibility or say.
Yep.
Right. Yeah.
It's a good time.
Yeah. No, man. And dude, we'll do this again, man.
Yeah.
We'd love to.
Oh, yeah.
Even though you're moving.
Oh,
Yeah.
we can, do. I'm probably gonna do like a kind of like a going away special type of thing. It's like I'll interview everybody that's given me the opportunity for interviewing, and then of course it's like if you guys talk to somebody that wants me to interview them, you can always reach out to me like, hey, cool, got somebody for you to interview.
Yeah.
It's like
Hell
because again, my goal, and I was telling him earlier, my goal is to give the microphone back to the people.
Yeah.
It's like celebrities have already had all their fair share of time.
Yeah.
It's like social media influencers, they already have the platform. They don't need me. It's like now I want to go back to like the roots where it's like the community, like actual people who teach you something new every day, get to see you every day, and at the same time actually know what it's like living.
Yeah.
Which you know, celebrities, no offense to them, they know what it's like to live life in their status.
Sure.
Yeah.
Our status
we're
is
disconnected from our reality for sure. You know, it's just, and that's the way it is.
Yeah, and there's nothing bad about it. It's just that, hey, you guys got to this level. It's like we know that your parents and parents before probably were at the same position we were in, but you guys kind of forgot about us.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Right,
just because you go to St. Jude's to go see the occasional, that doesn't mean you're back at square one. It's you're just doing something for the goodness of that.
Right. Yeah. No, for sure, dude. And I can't wait to see it and pick myself apart.
Oh,
I'm like, oh man, why did I say that?
Don't do that.
Trust me, I'll be honest with you. The first episode, I thought I was going to do that, but honestly, it's like that's what I say. It's like no judgment, freedom of speech. It's like no hatred towards anybody, just straight up peaceful conversation. It's like you then realize, like, man, it's like I actually have a good time when I just have freedom. Yeah. And that's the whole point. It's like I don't want people to ever look back at the podcast and be like, "Oh, I shouldn't have said that." No. Yeah. It's like anytime that we've cursed, it's like I just bleep it out. Yeah. It's simple. It's like I try to keep it PG because I do want the youth to listen to it. Right. And it's just like, but again, they know curse words more than we do. Right. So it's like I'm like, y'all heard it all, y'all seen it all already. Don't get me wrong. So you can hear the beep and you'll be fine.
Right. I wonder which word she used. That's funny.
So I'm gonna go ahead and just run over to stop the recording.
So, question.
Yes.
How do you feel about that chair now?
Okay. Lost circulation in my legs a while back ago. But so
they're not very comfortable.
They're not.
So it definitely needs a little more length to give it that actual proper support because just if you have longer legs, it cuts you off at the middle of your thigh versus at your knee. Okay. Back. It's not that bad. The back portion is definitely just the waist.
Yeah.
The other side is good. Just gotta put some, lubricant on the edges when you spin around.
Yeah.
Dude, it's only 57 degrees in here.
What'd you do? I think it's the ghost, babe. Because I felt a breeze.
No, I